There were 2 weeks left before my cousin's wedding, and I was one of the bridesmaids. All the other girls were getting spray tans at an expensive salon downtown, and I had never done one before, but I did not want to be the only one who did not glow in the pictures. The place looked elegant, all white, with strange lighting and that polished beauty clinic atmosphere. The woman assigned to me was named Laura. At first, she seemed normal, even friendly. She greeted me, handed me one of those ridiculous paper thongs, and told me to take off all my clothes. I was already nervous because I hate being naked in front of strangers, but I told myself it was her job, and she probably saw bodies all day. So there I was, freezing and feeling stupid. Laura walked in with a spray machine, and the second she saw me, she started laughing. Not a small, awkward laugh, an actual laugh. I froze. I thought maybe I had something stuck to my foot or something embarrassing. I asked what was funny, and she said nothing, sorry, she was just in a good mood. But it was obvious she was trying not to laugh again. Then she started the spray tan, and from the first minute she was doing a terrible job. One side got drenched while the other barely got anything. It looked like she was not even trying. Then she told me to turn around, and just as I did I heard her whisper something into her phone. I could not make out every word, but I understood enough to know she was talking to someone while spraying me. That was the moment I felt something was deeply wrong. When she finished, she handed me wipes and told me to wait a few minutes before getting dressed. While I was standing there, I heard her in the next room saying, "Worker, you would not believe what came in today. I cannot believe she had the nerve to walk in here like that." That was when I knew for sure something was very wrong. I got dressed quickly, feeling awful, and went to pay. She was still on the phone. I asked the receptionist if everything was all right, and she looked confused and said Laura had been getting weird calls all week from someone asking about specific clients. When I got home and saw myself in the mirror, I almost cried. I had streaks everywhere. Some areas were orange and others had barely developed at all. It looked like a cruel joke. I called the salon the next day to complain and ask for my money back. The manager was horrified when I told her everything. She said Laura should not even have been there that day because she had been fired the week before for strange behavior. It turned out she had been sneaking into the salon without permission to ruin certain clients' tans. Someone was paying her to do it. That was when I thought about the wedding. 3 days later, my cousin called me crying. She had discovered that her maid of honor, Valeria, had been sabotaging the wedding because she was in love with the groom and could not stand to see my cousin happy. She paid Laura €200 to leave me looking horrible in the photos. She had also tried to ruin the flowers and even called the caterer to change things without permission. The worst part was learning that Laura had been sending her pictures of my terrible spray tan as proof so she could get paid. They planned to post those pictures during the wedding to humiliate me. My cousin threw Valeria out of the bridal group, banned her from the wedding, and reported both Valeria and Laura for harassment and fraud. The salon also filed charges because Laura had been using the place without authorization. In the end, I managed to fix enough of the tan before the wedding, but what I never forgot was that moment when a stranger laughed at me while I was completely vulnerable, not knowing I had already become part of someone else's revenge plan.